the pooper, the stinker, the loo, the john. Whatever you call it, toilets have legally played a large role in your life. If not, tell me in the comments, because I want to know how you managed to do that. Despite everyone, theoretically, using them on a day-to-day basis, little to no one knows how they came to be. I mean, I could guess it went from dirt hole, bucket, then chair, but I feel like there's a big jump from bucket to chair that needs to be explained. So, for those who are curious, come along with me as we learn a comprehensible history of toilets. Quick disclaimer though, the majority of toilets that we're talking about today are European toilets. It's an evolution of European toilets, mostly, because that's what's mostly available for me, and it's honestly what I can mostly relate to. I've not used any other type of toilet except for a European toilet. European? I'm a peon. I'm sorry. Next. To start, the first page I read started immediately with the Romans, but dang it, that's not good enough for me. I want caveman crap, literally. So I searched deeper, which led me to a funky little activity packet. I'll leave a link to the PDF, so if you want to do it, you can, but like a little side note, the PDF has a point where it's like, show a little empathy to the guy who's got to poop with other dudes on the same page where it says a slave would wash the soldier's hands. Like, dude, what? I don't even have anything funny to say about that. That's just genuinely absurd. Show empathy for the guy who's getting his hands washed for him because he has to look at another dude's, I refuse to have empathy for him. I want to poop with the homies, but that's unsanitary, and dude, please, I need privacy. Whatever. Anyway, of course, pooped in a hole in the dirt, but also some pots and classic cement box, like things like this toilet found, in Jerusalem. It's like 270 years old. It's suspected toilet. I don't know what else it could be suspected to be. It's got a hole, it's a seat. I'm hoping it's a toilet. Anyway, have fun. But around 240 years ago, and I apologize for this pronunciation. I'm gonna say it's Xi'an, China. A flushable toilet was made. It's got a luxury seat on an absolutely darling pipe that allows the waste to flow to a pit outside. Pretty neat. In ye olde Neolithic times, the Scots and or the Greeks are honored with the title of first pooper systems, as stated by the British Association of Urological Surgeons. This is totally not biased at all. Were basically a line of seats with holes in them that had flowing water under it. After that, we got the Romans, who had a similar set of toilets, but also had a stick with a sponge on the end of it that they would wash off in flowing water, or a bucket, and was reused. Which is where it is believed the saying "wrong end of the stick" came from, which, yikes, dude. I hope you only got as far as to hold the sponge before you went any further. This is where I feel like there's a bit of a weird jump, because the next change that is noted is in the medieval times. So before we get to this is where I feel like there's a bit of a weird jump, because the next change is noted in the medieval times. So before we get to it, let's talk a little bit more about Asia, or more specifically China. In China and other Asian countries, squat toilets are often used instead of a sitting toilet. Due to water shortages, squat toilets allowed for the night soil to be stored and used as fertilizer. Another side note, it makes sense to squat and to poop a little. Just a little. Because, I mean, cavemen probably had to squat and do their thing, so why sit? Also, seems more sanitary, because, like, you're not putting your bum on the seat. But, you know, what do I know? Okay, medieval times. Feels kinda like a step backwards, actually. But with good reason. For the time, yikes. The population kept growing and made sanitation areas very hard to keep up with, honestly. There wasn't enough people, and there was not enough toilets, and not enough ways to keep up with the sanitary areas. So, a lot of waste was made and left, and a large amount of feces kinda being chucked out windows into a street below. Not very sanitary. Would be a shame if something happened because of that. Soon after, toilets were placed near moats, so the waste was disposed of. But man, that sure stank bad. It was still stinky. It was pretty bad. Flushable toilets were still needed, and it is believed that the flushable toilet was made by I'm sorry, Thomas Crapper. Man, what a please be mature. Unfortunate name. But honestly, he just popularized it, and that there have been a few flushable toilets made before his time. The invention was altered in how Alexander, once again, premature, Cummings made the S-shaped pipe that helped with odor control. This leads to Victorian times. They had a lot of similar issues as they did in medieval times, which, side note, Thomas, crap guy, he came around the Victorian times, not during the medieval times. I just thought I should put that out there. Anyway, the population was growing tremendously, and the people to toilet ratio was about 100 to 1. Then bam, poop in the streets, bam, in drinking water, bam, people are unalived. Cut to those who survived in 1848 with big government who pushed their woke ideals onto us freedom-fighting citizens, stating that we need to have a water closet or ash pit privy at every house. Truly evil. If I want to piss in the streets, I should be allowed to. Anyway, dudes called night soil men would come around stealing your poop at night. After a particularly hot summer in 1858, it led to a Thomas crap ton of rotting sewage, making my favorite name time the Big Stink. Government had to stick their smelly noses in our dirty business and started the construction of a big old sewer system. This is when the toilet started taking a more toilet shape rather than a box with a hole in it. Not soon after, water tanks were placed on the backs of toilets, and around 1902, toilet paper had reached the shelves. Bidets were installed, and some Japanese engineer took the power of God into his hands to bring us the thing that I've only got to play with at the nearest hardware store. We've come a long way in a seemingly short amount of time. It kind of makes sense, but, not to insult Mr. Crapper, but big tubes make poop go away isn't that hard to invent nowadays. So, yeah. Poop and stuff. Subscribe, bye.